For most of you, the single easiest place to start with Facebook advertising to be able to prove that you can generate results, particularly short-term results, is by using the lead generation objective, which I'm going to walk you through right now. So when you start creating a campaign using the lead generation objective, you're going to be given these three options: instant forms, automated chat, and calls. Now, the easiest thing to get started with is the instant forms. And I'm just showing you an example of a campaign that I worked on, which was this. And it was integrate Amazon and QuickBooks. So this is a very clear use case, a very clear benefit value proposition of being able to integrate two systems that are separate. You can use that using the tool Webgility. And the call to action here is book a demo. So basically what happens when people click this ad is there is a pop-up form where maybe they're asked for their name and their email to request a demo. An extremely effective way to do bottom of funnel lead generation. And I'm going to show you a few examples later of campaigns that I ran like this. Now, one of the single most important things to do this well is the targeting. And this is something that is a bit of a challenge with Facebook, but also a big opportunity. So the thing with Facebook is that it has a huge user base, right? You're talking the biggest, most popular social media in the world. And even though other platforms are getting very popular, Facebook is still the Goliath in the space. So you're able to get a much bigger reach than you can with other channels. But the native targeting opportunities in business to business are not as good as you're going to get in LinkedIn. So I can go to LinkedIn and I can say, I want people with this exact job title, this seniority, these types of industries. There's so many parameters I can put in there. And even by putting in all these parameters, I can still get a large user base. Can't really do that with Facebook, right? People are not going to be as up to date on their professional information. So for example, I was targeting veterinarians on Facebook and I was also targeting them on LinkedIn. I was able to get about 10 times as many people on LinkedIn as Facebook. But I don't want this to deter you. And the reason is because you don't have to rely on the native targeting. Now, the native targeting is going to look something like this, right? You can put in Thailand as a location, you can put in age, genders, and then the more detailed targeting, which is interests and behavior. So you can see who's interested in software as a service, who's interested in technology, in industrial marketing, whatever you want to put in there. But one of the key ways you overcome this limitation of Facebook relative to LinkedIn is with the custom audiences here. So you can actually import lists. So you could import, for example, your current customers and target them. You could target people that look similar to your current customers. You could go into LinkedIn. What you could do is you could buy a premium subscription to LinkedIn to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You could identify all the target customers that you want in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Then you could use this other tool called scrap.io, which will scrape as many emails as possible from those people on LinkedIn. You could take that CSV file and import it here into Facebook and then advertise to the same people that you're able to find on LinkedIn using Facebook. The other thing that you could do is you could run a top of funnel campaign on LinkedIn targeting the exact people you want. All right, maybe it's chief technology officers at companies with 50 or more people. Send them to a blog post on your homepage, but then you could retarget them using Facebook to get them to watch a video and then to request a demo. So there's ways you can use LinkedIn and Facebook together to get the targeting right, but also get all the benefits of Facebook, like cheap cost per click and things like that. They can work together. But you don't even need to use LinkedIn at all. So for example, you could get a list somewhere else, right? You could go buy a list. You could compile a list of target buyers. You could scrape it from association websites where people's emails are publicly listed. There's all different ways. Now, one of the challenges when you import a list into Facebook is the match rate. So sometimes the match rate can be extremely high, like 75%, 90%, etc. Other times it may not be so hot. I mean, it may only be 40%, right? So less than half of the people that you thought you could hit, you're actually going to be able to hit, because not everybody's on Facebook, and they're not always able to connect the email that you have, which may be a professional email or personal email, with the Facebook account. But tons of people are using Facebook for professional purposes. And one of those main professional purposes is the groups. People engage a lot in Facebook groups. They don't really engage much on LinkedIn groups. So it's a huge opportunity for you to hit people where they're often in a buying or a business type of mindset.